think, the way I analyze this, the GOP got schooled in this midterm election cycle on two fronts. Number one, registering new voters. You know, it was clear the Republicans got the message out, yeah, vote, don't forget to vote. But what about getting new people into the party? I think they failed at that, and I think they failed on a singular message. You had the President of the United States out there running around the country on behalf of these candidates, begging these candidates to talk about a singular issue, while the Democrats were pretty much talking about one message, and that was health care. And the Republicans were horrible on health care. I'm going to take your health care away. It was a message they hammered home over and over and over again. And aside from the president, the Republicans didn't have that message, and the GOP leadership essentially sat on its majority for 2 years. How do you look at it?
Well, look, that is right, that the Democrats did have the issue of health care. That's what they do in these kinds of races. They have done that before. They did that in 2012, pushing the baby carriage over the cliff with Granny in it or whatever, just to emphasize that Republicans are very callous about health care, which, of course, is completely wrong. But that was the one theme that they picked this year. Our theme should have been the economy, stupid, which it is, because this is a historically good economy with the 3 to 4% growth rate, which no one said would happen, and now it's happening, and unemployment at historic lows, especially for minorities, blacks and Hispanics. This is historically low unemployment. And it really should be, it's the economy, stupid, and it was not. But as you get down and you analyze specific races, as here in New York, where we lost 3 congressional seats. Now, this was not as bad as our loss in the revolt, let's say, against W presidency at the end of it in 2006 and 2008, when we lost 6 seats and ended up with 2. Here we started with 9 seats, lost only 3, and ended up with 6 seats. And our loss were primarily in districts which had fairly large suburban or exurbia populations, those soccer moms who, in fact, would have voted Republican, but under this administration went to the Democrats.
Well, in other words,
and you had a huge turnout.
Right, a huge turnout. But in other words, they bought the Democrat message, and that goes back to my main point. But I want to look at a couple of these races, 3 of them, 4 actually. Starting with Florida 26, and I want to go to New York in just a second. But Florida 26 is Carlos Corbello. Not terribly a surprise here when it's a Democrat +5 district. New York 22 is one of the districts you talk about. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney losing in a Republican +6 district. Texas 32, Pete Sessions goes down to a radical civil rights attorney, and Virginia 7, a GOP +6, Congressman Dave Bratt losing to a former CIA worker who had the backing of John Brennan. That's a reason to vote against her, I would say. But Bratt loses. Yeah. To me, this one stings the most, Congressman Bratt. Because here you have a guy, he adheres not to party, he adheres to the United States Constitution. His Liberty score with conservative view is 97%, and he's going to be gone now. And that is a huge loss, not only for the Republicans, not only for the Congress, but it's a huge loss for our country.
Right. Well, his win was an upset win against a leader of our majority in the House, and he definitely will be a loss. Pete Sessions, interestingly, he had a suburban district, and that is very much like our losses, which were particularly John Faso, which was a loss. And again, there was a good portion of the suburban population there where the soccer moms, and it was not so much on the health care issue. It was more they did not like the language that was being used in Washington with respect to a number of issues, and that really had a large impact on the suburban races such as Pete Sessions and John Faso's.
Now to the good news, the governor races, a huge victory in Florida. This really was very, very important for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Republicans want to hang on to Florida in the governor's mansion there. Ron DeSantis pulling it out. And the other reason is this guy Gillum, is a complete and total socialist radical who would have possibly changed the landscape. And I'm talking taxes, and I'm talking freedom and liberty, the landscape in Florida possibly forever. So this is very important. And also it's important from a census perspective, Edward.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.